Hi everyone, so today I'll be trying out this stamp die and stencil set that Die Press has brought to HSN ahead of the July 15th craft day. It is, excuse me, so they did send this item free of charge from my review. Of course, all opinions are my own. The links I have in the description box will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission for your purchase items to those links, so thanks for using those. If you would like, I try to keep them updated for everything that's been available or is available there in HSN already. Again, with YouTube and HSN possibly embedded in the video here at the very top of the description box. And this feels very thick, so I'm really curious what's in here. So let's see. Oh, okay. It looks like there's some kind of mechanism type thing, possibly. I see some larger dies here. Let's check this guy out. I have no idea. So I'm filming these in mid-June, so I haven't had like any kind of sneak peek preview idea of what is in here, so we will check this out, guys. Oh, okay. Oh, I love that. Okay, so let's look at the instruction sheet first. Okay, so that looks like number one for something else because it says peel back option. That's so funny. I've been noticing that a lot. Sometimes people talk about heels, like high heels, and they put H-E-A-L, but that's different. Like peel, it should be P-E-E-L, right? All right, there we go. So let's just be on the same page, guys. All right. They're like, oh, I can never walk in heels, and it says H-E-A-L. So I'm like, no. Okay. I'm trying to see the order, just so you guys can see, because it starts with 2, 3, 4, and it starts 1 here, so it's this one. Okay, so yeah, so it does start with 1 here with the peel back option, and then die cut shapes option is what it says, and then it continues from there. So okay, all right, so let's see. Oh, there's gonna be some little portions that we're gonna have some fun with here. Interesting. Oh my gosh, how cute. Okay, so that shape that we first saw over here, it does cut, and it cuts like this little shape in there, right? So you have these little like triangles, I suppose, at the edge, and then you can put glue all over, you know, the back, stick it down, but missing out in that space, right? You don't want to put any glue there. And then use a pencil to roll this back. Very old school, really fun design. I think that is very cute. Okay, so then you have your little Santa or whatever image you want to have under there. Or the die cut shapes option, which is you have your card base, you know, you're going to do your stenciling like they were showing on the other one. You use that outside die, cut that away, or the circle. And then you kind of trace where it's going to be so that you have an idea of where to put your, not trace really, but just like a little mark, right? So you know where to put your image so that you have that window. Again, guys, shakers, think of all those different things that we can do. I would say maybe the Holy Night, maybe not a shaker. It's a little more, I don't know, occasion where you're going to have to shake it. I don't know. It seems funny. But, you know, with some of the other items here, I think I definitely would do that. And then, I mean, how cute is that? So, okay, so they're showing you it basically makes windows and in different ways, right, is what we're looking at. So you have those beautiful stamps. Again, a big, you know, background of like a little city. Definitely nice for a shaker in the background, I would say. Then you have, you know, the little baby Jesus there with Mary and Joseph, and then some people caroling. You know, you have the stencils with like the Christmas sweater. I would say ugly sweater. Farrell does the Christmas sweater. I skipped that first because my eye just went there. Sheet music, Starry Night. And so we have all that. Okay, so now we know what we're looking at as far as what this kit creates. It does come with the cutting folder for the original marquee. Oh, these are nice. I like the size of these. Really nice background. Oh, and the sentiments too are huge. Very cool. So we have these guys. I keep misplacing my ruler. So it's 5 1/4 by 6 1/2. But you can see, you know, obviously you're going to remove maybe about 1 inch all around. So definitely A2 size-ish. So you have those guys, and then the sweater and the starry background. Very cute. The dies, if you want to just, you know, pop those in the back, put them on top of your card, just do a stamping and color it. You know, all these different ways of using these guys outside of the options that you have here, which are really fun. I think I'm going to do the peel back one just to show you guys a little something more. But just, you have all these different shapes to work with, right, to make those windows. These cut out the holly, it looks like. So you have your acrylic stamps, which feel really thick. the thickness of these feels different to me. Maybe it's because they're so large. I don't know. Something about them feels thicker. So you have your Santa Claus there. Your classic, you know, Santa, the family there, of course, and the caroling family over here. You have the holly, and then the little scene. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Holy Night. The stars are brightly shining, and good tidings of comfort and joy, which I love that. Okay, so, you know, honestly, I feel like I'm just going to make it like the Santa one. Maybe not the, let's do it different so you have a different idea. So maybe we do the, let's say the stars, that kind of goes down. Maybe we're doing the sweater. Okay, so let me grab some paper. It does say, you know, use scissors or paper trimmer to cut a piece of cardstock 4 by 5 1/4. I like matte layering a little bit, so I'm definitely going to do that because that's a little bit smaller than your typical A2 size card. So let me just grab some cardstock and stuff like that to get started with that. Okay guys, I am going to start with quite a bit of paper. I just realized I'm like, I want a card base, but I also want a matte layer that's a little bit tighter and all that kind of stuff. So, okay. Cream colored cardstock just because to give it a little vintagey feel, but I think some of these other colors are very crisp, but that's okay. So, it's A2 size, so it's already 8.5 by 5.5. And I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. 4 1/4. The topper piece that I'm going to use, just like it says in the instruction, to cut it at 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to do that. But behind that, I'm going to matte layer some black cardstock. So I'm going to use this one to stencil on. You can cut it after you stencil, however you want, but I'm going to do 5 1/4 by 4. Those stencils are so nice. I mean, they're going to be great for all your Christmas cards. You know, it doesn't have to be just for this particular design. And then I'm going to do 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, just because, again, I like a tight matte layer. And then I have the white cardstock that you see there. So 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. The white cardstock I have there is so that I can color the Santa Claus, because in the example they're showing you to color, and honestly, if you're using, like, it doesn't take a lot of color, you know, and if you're using color pencils or even maybe water-based markers, that's fine, but I don't want, I'm going to use alcohol ink markers, and I don't want it to bleed through to the card base, and then you're going to see on that back side, right? So this next, what I'm doing is just a little bit different than what they're showing you there. So we have that. I have all this beautiful cardstock I'm going to put in my scrap pile there, so I'll use it. This is alcohol ink marker paper. Not a lot of this is going to show. It's basically just what's going to be behind this. So I don't need to cut this or waste it in any way. I can just kind of, I can even stamp the image first and then cut it down, to be honest. So let's do that, because I need that to sit and rest a moment anyway. You can use water-based inks if you're going to do alcohol ink markering. Well, I guess that's what it's called. Coloring. I don't know. I was like, that sounded funny. But if you use hybrid ink, you can also use that, but you're just going to have to wait a while till it dries before you can go in with your alcohol ink markers, okay? So water-based inks, they just won't reactivate with alcohol ink marker. And that's why you use that. And then hybrid inks are hybrid inks, and they're special in that you can use them with water-based markers or watercolor, and also your alcohol ink markers. I'm just gonna pop this on here. Again, I'm not gonna cut this with a die because I don't need to, but you do have a die to cut out all the different images, which is really cool. And then, you know, do you want him just like that? Or I guess I can manipulate that later because it's just going to be behind. But you do want to leave yourself a good amount of room just in case, right? So as you can see, some of his face is covered up, and you can kind of have an idea that if that's there, you know, how much is going to be showing. Not too much. That's good. Okay, so I do want him a little bit tilted like that. That'll be fun. And do that. Oopsie, I dropped a little something. What was that? Oh, my bone folder. Okay, so let's put that on there. How do you prep your stamps? Just like what you just saw me do. Took it off of there and used it. So that's that. Pretty good. I want a little bit darker. Hopefully it didn't move because I didn't really try to tie this down much. I just needed something bigger because I didn't have a larger acrylic block. But if I have to do it again, I'll just turn the paper over and do it again. But I think it's okay. All right. Okay, so sorry, I was going to move on, but I thought, wait, hold on, I want to cut this out. That's the whole point. That's why I stamped it right now. I mean, I can just cut this with scissors, not the biggest deal. But it is nice to kind of see what we're doing in a measurements kind of way. So let's say just going under 4 inches. Ooh, maybe, yeah, let's do 4 inches. I'm a little bit afraid I don't, again, know exactly where this is going to show. And then to like, let's see, well, I'll have it this way. I'll just cut it and I'll tell you what size I have it cut at. Oh yeah, that'll be fine. And then if I need to cut anything off with scissors, I'll do that. But for right now, it is just under 4 inches by 4 3/4. Okay, so just under 4 3/4. And this one, you know, they're just showing you to go ahead and when you do the topper to just cut into it and then just give it a little mark so you know where you should stamp. Okay, so I did mine a little bit different, but their idea is better. I was just trying to save my little alcoholic marker paper. So, okay. I guess we can let that sit. Honestly, we don't have to color that right now. I was going to come back and do my coloring, but what we can do right now while that's drying, setting up, is do our little inking. Of course, if you have your grip mats, bring those out. This will be a great time to use them. I'm going to try to do this straight, especially because it's very angular, you know. I will say it doesn't have to just be portrait. You know, you can do a landscape thing. Wherever this is, your picture can be behind it, you know, this way if you want to do it landscape. So just think about that too. It does not have to be always the same direction. I feel like I'm always doing portrait and sometimes I try to mix it up and do a little bit of landscape. Okay. So I'm gonna take Joy from the Brights collection because I feel like it's the deepest red. I'm gonna do tone on tone. It would be very cute to do, you know, something a little bit different. Maybe some other colors, but I'm gonna go red, red, red. And just go in here and I'll be right back. So I'm just gonna cover the whole thing, right, with my ink. Okay, these pads are very juicy, so that's a lot of ink. So what I'm trying to do is just get it into the paper, just not to waste it. So there we go. Maybe a little ombre of colors would be fun. If you want, you can mask off areas. This is very maskable because everything's nice and straight and have different colors, right? So just want to do a little tone on tone. And I'll just rinse this off. I did use a water-based dye ink. That's what that is. The dye and press inks are, for the most part, right? The metallic ones are pigment inks because that's how you get a metallic color. And then this guy, again, just pop it where you would like. Let me see if they have a certain way. They're kind of having it, see, I put mine straight flat. They put theirs kind of like this, so that's what I'll do. Okay? Wherever it is that you want to put that. So if I can imagine this guy's kind of here, you know, wherever. So let's put that maybe there-ish. Okay. Hold that down. And I will run this through. And I'm just going to run it through my old school marquee because she's right here and I don't need our big guy for this. And a well-loved folder, even though it does come with a new folder. This is just how I do it. Okay. And then as far as your sentiment, you know, if you're going to stamp it on the inside, you're going to stamp it down here. Maybe you're going to put it on its own piece and then cut it out, right? Of like with some matte layering and stuff like that, like we like to do. If you're going to stamp it you should do that now that this piece is flat and here. And what I mean, like, maybe I'm doing good tidings of comfort and joy and stamping it right on there, right? And maybe I'll do that. Let's do that. This guy to the side. Bring this over. Okay, and I'm definitely eyeballing this. Of course, sometimes not sometimes, pretty much whenever you have a precision tool, it's going to have a grid for you to see if things are straight. And that is pretty straight. And that was just eyeballing it, guys. Not bad, not bad. All right. Let's get some ink on this bad boy. And that'll be that for the topper. Sometimes you can use your little chuck. Not sometimes, but all the time. But there you go. Looks really good. I don't think I need a second stamping of that guy. And let me clean up and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so we have our card base. We have our topper piece. We have the little guy we're going to decorate. Again, you can just stamp that right on your card base. What they were showing in the instruction is to go ahead and put your piece. That looks really lovely. I love it. And then to just kind of move one of these guys, open it up a little bit. Or there's actually a little dot there already. So honestly, if you just kind of mark in that little dot, and then when you move this, you'll see pretty much where that center is. I know it might be hard to see, but there you go. And go ahead and stamp there. So for right now, I'm going to go ahead and put down this black layer, because why not? And I'll just do a little coloring of our little guy here. So again, 4 1/8, 5 3/8, because I like that. And then this is going to be kind of hidden behind here, and I'll probably cut this down a little bit because we don't really need that whole side. But like I said, it was just under 4 inches. But I didn't know how far back those little curls are going to go. And then we'll have this guy under here with our little curls, okay? So let me go ahead and grab some markers, and we'll get him colored in. Okay guys, so I just grabbed a couple of reds. It's not like the most, you know, just dark and medium, so we can just kind of get some color on here. So this is dark with this set here. I'm just putting it down there. Grab medium again. I'm not doing too much. You can leave a little cartoony with some white areas or however you like, whatever your style is. I'll go back in with the darker red. Okay. The white, we're not just going to ignore it, but I do have gray, and I was going to put this in his beard, and usually I like go with like a very light blue for white, like this kind of thing, but if we already have the ash color, again, this is like a gray, I'm just going to add a little bit of shadow in here. Same thing with his little eyebrows, just a little something, and then the little beard and mustache just under here, just a little something. So it's not that we're just forgetting it or ignoring it, it's just, it's white, so there you go. So again, I'm just adding wherever the little shadow layers are where they're doing it, that's what I'm adding. For the skin tone, I go with like something like these neutral colors. I'm just doing the darkest and then the lightest. I don't know, maybe I should have grab the medium one too, but just kind of go in here into the wherever there's shadow. His mouth is open, it looks like, so maybe you want to go in there with the dark gray. Generally when I want something to be like black, I don't really go with black because it'll just color it in so much that you can't really see the detail anymore. So I go with a really dark gray, what I like to do. But there you go. Maybe you make his little cheeks, you know, and his nose, maybe a little frostbitten, a little pink, you know, whatever it is you want. Sorry, I was opening this thing. I will dab a little dark gray in his mouth, okay? No big deal. And then some green for the greenery, and that's all I'm going to do. So a darker green down the center real quick. It looks like there are some berries, so maybe you want to add a little red on those guys. And then the light. So I went from medium to light, and ooh, that one is juicy. I need to clean that off. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna use the other side. Sorry, guys. All right. So if something like that were to happen with your alcohol ink markers, just open it up and let a paper towel suck up that extra, and then you can continue using it. I'm just gonna use the other side for now. And I suppose I could go with some red dots on these guys. Okay, and I'm gonna put that little gray spot in the mouth area, and that's that for that. Okay, so that's that. If you want to do like a little background, I know it's just stark white, you know, I would go around his edges with something like that, but I do want to, okay. I kind of want to have an idea if I'm putting this where I would want it to be, how much of him is going to show. I'm just, I'm cheating a little bit. Actually, before I stick it down, I do want to say I do want to do a little bit of the curling, because I feel like that's fine if it's stuck down and then you start doing your curling, but how about if you start it when you can still manipulate it, like in your hands? Because I know you might have a hard time if it's stuck down. Because see, right now that it's in my hand, I can kind of get my fingers behind there and start curling it. You can do all the curling, I guess. You don't have to wait, you know, till it's all stuck down there, but just give a little bit of a curl already. I will say, they did say to stamp the sentiment as one of the last steps, but I stamped it first while it's flat, you know. And then just take a pencil or pen to do this with. I'm kind of getting it ready. I'm going to use a wet glue anyway, so I don't need, you know, to flatten it out. I don't need it to be flat so I can stick the tape behind it. So that'll give you some idea of where he is. And how much hat do I want to see? I think that's pretty good. Okay. So it's a little bit crooked and a little bit that way. Okay. And again, I'm sticking the glue here, but it does definitely tell you to put the glue on the edges, just that my paper's smaller. And so I just want to make sure that I have that in there where I need it to be, but there's definitely not glue in this area, right? All right, let me bring it down a little bit. Okay. And I can put glue all over this now because I have that other piece protecting it, but definitely when you go to put glue, just don't put glue in that special area there. And I'm going to hold that down for a little bit and we will finish up our card, do our little curly cues, and that'll be that. I'm just going to hold this down. I'll be back. That is so cute. So anyway, so again, they're showing you to put plenty of glue, just not in this area, right? And that's great because honestly, it'll keep this from popping up a little bit. And then, you know, do your curling, and then it tells you to stamp your stamp, you know, what you're going to do, but I already did that. Let's see if these will stay on their own. So again, I restarted some of these, and depending on what you're using to curl them, obviously that's how much curling you're going to do. You're going to curl all the way back until where it's cut, right? That looks really good. I want to see how much it will stay. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue, I think, guys, just to keep that down. So I'm going to curl that back again, and I'm going to hold that. I'm going to remove this. You can keep it there though if you want it to help you, whatever it is that you're using, right? Pen, pencil. But I'm going to add some glue and keep it curled. And I'm going to do that essentially for each one. So I'm going to hold this for a little bit longer. You can imagine just going to go around, do them all systematically. I don't think I can let this go quite yet. This paper is really nice and thick, so it wants to fight me, you know, which is great because it's going to keep its shape, but I'm going to hold it down for a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, next one. Just going to go around here. Curling, curling, curling. Trying to see where we're at. Okay, I'm right here. A little glue back on there and just roll it open and hold that. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing all around, guys, you can imagine. Okay guys, so I've been doing this kind of in a fun way. I've been doing 2 at a time, and I was very careful with it at first, but honestly, it can take the rolling. So if you do 2 at a time, and you can even roll it with your fingers. Once, again, I had that ready to go, and I did it a little tighter, so my first one is a little bit bigger because I wasn't, you know, sure. First time doing this, and so I just give them a curl, and like I said, you can do that with your fingers. You don't even have to use anything. Put the glue, you know, kind of at the tips, and then I can hold 2 at a time, and then I just brought out something heavy to sit on top of these curls just so that they wouldn't undo, because my glue, you know, takes a little minute to set up. Just curl it up and hold it, and you can do 2 at a time real easy, and it looks really cute. Okay, I'm at the last 2. Okay guys, and that is the card. I mean, super cool, very different. Obviously it has some height to it. I think this is really cute. Oh my gosh. So then we have our little guy there, good tidings of comfort and joy, and some layers. Again, I did a little different something because of the different layers that I added, but it came out really nice. So thanks for watching. Thank you so much, Diane, for setting these items for review. I'll have images coming up. I'll have the links in the description box again, just trying to keep up with, you know, what's available with all the different links there for you guys. And I will see you all at the next one. All right, bye now.